Hello everyone, this is Mr. Appel, and today we're going to do some more review of solving equations, two different kinds. One, solving for a variable, which is really just manipulating a formula, moving it around to solve for the one you're interested in, and also solving absolute value equations. So this should be review. I'm going to go through it kind of quickly, and then you'll try a couple of practice problems on Schoology when you are finished. If you need some extra practice with this, I will also post some Khan Academy help for you. Okay, here we go. First, solving for another variable. So we often do this when we're working with formulas, where we might be interested in solving for one particular variable in a formula. So this one you may recognize, that is the formula for the area of a trapezoid, half the height times the sum of the bases. So if for some reason we were interested in solving this for B2, we wanted to rewrite this equation in terms of B2, we do all the steps we normally do to solve an equation. We're just not going to get a numerical answer. We're basically just rewriting the formula. So to get B2 by itself, I want to get everything else over to the other side. So I might just clear out that 1/2 first. So if I just multiply both sides of the equation by 2, then we have 2a is equal to h times b1 plus b2. And now to get that b2 by itself, there's a couple ways we could do it. We could divide both sides by h right now. So one way to do this, let's just do that, would be to divide both sides by h right now. And I did that because those h's cancel. And now we have 2a over h is equal to just b1 plus b2. And now to get b2 all by itself, we can just subtract the b1 from both sides. So if we did b2 equals, subtract that b1, so we have 2a over h minus b1. And that would be an acceptable way to write your answer. You could also get a common denominator over there and multiply the top and bottom by h, in which case you would get 2a minus h times b1 over h. And generally either of those would be considered acceptable. This first way is probably a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer, but either one of those would be correct, and they are equivalent equations, so either one would be fine. Okay, now let's get to absolute value. Absolute value equations. Just want to remind you what absolute value means. It means that thing's distance from 0. So this thing's distance from 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve that equation for the absolute value. In other words, we're going to get the absolute value part by itself. So I'm going to subtract the 4 from both sides. Subtract the 4 from both sides, so that's 30. Still want to get that absolute value part all by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So we have absolute value of 3x minus 6 is equal to 10. And now I just want to take a moment. Again, it's really helpful to understand what's going on here. What this expression, what this equation, says is this thing inside the absolute value, this thing's distance from 0 is supposed to equal 10. So what value or values of x would make this thing be 10 units from 0? Well, the thing is that can happen in two ways. This thing can be 10 units from 0 if it were 10, but it could also be 10 units from 0 if it were negative 10. So there are two possible solutions. So this is where, and you may remember having done this before, we separate it into two possibilities. So that 3x minus 6 could equal 10, or that 3x minus 6 could also equal negative 10, because negative 10 would be 10 units from 0, and positive 10 would be 10 units from 0. Make that an actual 3. And now if we go ahead and solve this equation, pretty simple equation, 3x equals 18, so x equals 6. So there's one possible solution. And over here, if we add the 6 to both sides, we get 3x equals negative 4. So x equals negative 4/3, which is another possible solution. So if you plugged 6 in for x to that original equation, you get 3 times 6 is 18. 18 minus 6 is 12. The absolute value of 12, in other words, 12's distance from 0, is 12. And 3 times 12 is 36. Whoops, what did I just do there? Did I mess up? Oh, apparently I can't count, because 10 plus 6 in our world is not actually 18. But hopefully you all caught that and are laughing at me at home. I was almost going to start that video all over again, but I don't have to now. There we go. 10 plus 6 is in fact 16, not 18, which makes our answer over here 16 thirds, or 5 1/3. That's a little better. And so if we did it that way, we would get the correct answer. Hope that didn't confuse you too much, and we'll go over it in class if you have any questions. That's all for now.